I know that feeling, by the way, but anyway, yeah, go ahead.
I do. What Sutton didn't know when he was working at the Hoover Institution at Stanford, that was his end dream of life, I think, probably to work at Stanford. It's just such a class organization. Their research is impeccable. They have access to everything in the world. And he was they affectionately called him the Hoover vacuum cleaner because he was that way when he did research. He'd suck everything up and his hands on. But he was just tootling away at Hoover Institution, and he ran across the Trilateral Commission. The whole antennas went up, and so he starts gathering stuff in, resources from here, there, and whatever, and he starts reading about this, and he says, "There's something really funny going on here." And probably nothing would have happened until he started writing some internal reports on it. What he didn't recognize was the political landscape at that point, because the president of Stanford was David Packard of Hewlett-Packard fame, who happened to be one of the initial members, the founding members of the Trilateral Commission. And when he found out what Sutton was doing, that was the end of Sutton. First, they put him back in the archives in the stacks in a hot little room somewhere with no air conditioning. And they just kind of isolated him, and they started pushing him out. And eventually said, "Well, there's no demand for you here, so you hit the road, Toad." And they kicked him out. And it ruined his whole life. He couldn't, he was blacklisted from getting into any other university. When I first met him, he was pretty depressed, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So I just can't believe this happened to me. My life has been,
good.
By people. And he said, "I just don't know where to go. I don't know, what I can do. I don't have a publisher. I can't write books. I don't have access to university libraries anymore." Well, anyway, the rest is history. We met up and it worked.
Yeah, Patrick, just what happened to him eventually in the end? I mean, how what happened after all that was done to him?
Well, we created a partnership. I met him down at a gold conference in New Orleans, one of the very first gold conferences back in those days. I was a gold bug, and that put me on the list right away. But I went to the same conference he went to, and we happened to run into each other at breakfast in the hotel cafe there. And it was real busy. The thing was just way overpacked. And the maitre d' said, "It's European style. If you want to eat, you're going to sit where we set you, wherever a chair is." Mm-hmm. And I wasn't happy about that. But they sat me down across this little table for him. And, we're so close, you can't not say hi.
Yeah.
Oh, we started talking. And he was British, of course. He had a British accent. That kind of interested me. I enjoyed that. He started telling me his story, and I started telling him my story at the same time. I had been studying the Trilateral Commission already for 2 years and was deeply concerned. But as a young guy, I had no idea what I could do with the information I discovered. Well, he filled in we immediately kind of hit it off and filled in all the cracks right there at breakfast. And by the end of breakfast, we said, this story is so big, it must be told. And just so happened at the time that I had a publishing business, or at least a printing business back in Scottsdale, Arizona. And I said, "Tony, we can write a newsletter. Let's do a newsletter. We'll call it Trilateral Observer, and we'll do a newsletter, a monthly publication. I'll print it. We'll get email, not email. We'll get, snail mail, direct mail packages, whatever. We'll start sending them out, and we'll see if we can get some subscribers to pay for it." And we did. And we got, quite a few subscribers around the country. And then as we got enough newsletters under our belt, we said, let's turn this into a book. We can print a book now. And so that became the first iteration of Trilaterals over Washington. And we did 2 volumes.
Wow.
And
almost like a divine appointment. Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, it really was. I look back at that time. It was so unlikely to meet somebody at this gold conference like this. It was just I look back at it, especially today, and I would not be here even talking to you were it not for meeting Anthony Sutton and at that gold conference in this crowded restaurant, which is just mayhem. And I was so hungry, I was just faint almost. I had to eat. And otherwise, I hate to meet people in the morning I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's me, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But we had a really good working relationship for some time. And that carried us through the early 1980s. And after that, after Reagan got elected, there wasn't much point of anything because the world figured Ronnie's here and, you know, we're all saved and everybody quit buying books. They quit listening to us. And they figured all was good, except that George Bush was on the ticket. He was a member of the Trilateral Commission.
Yeah. And amongst other things, yeah.
They should have kept listening to us.
Yeah.
But they didn't. So Tony went his way and I went mine. And Tony ended up writing a few more books after that. His original research was greatly hampered because he didn't have the professional resources. And eventually he passed in ignominy in Sparks, Nevada, of all places.
Yeah. Wow.
Not much of a place to die.
Yeah. Wow.
But he pretty much he died broke, penniless, and
another one of those marginalized, unsung heroes of which we've seen way too many.
I know. Yeah. So anyway, Tony touched a lot of people along the way, but the end of his life was worse than the beginning.
Goodness.
And the thing that really, I mean, passing is bad enough, but the thing that really shocked me was that all of his research was gone.
Goodness gracious.
He was so protective of his research that he once let me go up into his attic at his house in Aptos, California. And the attic was a full footprint attic. It was huge. He let me see his research that he had up there. Boxes. I mean, I'm just talking layers of boxes. I don't know why his ceiling didn't fall in. But all these boxes of research, he said, this is my life work. You know, this is everything I've done from the time I got out of university. And as he moved around towards the end of his life, he put all of his research boxes in mini storage.
And what happened? After he put it in mini storage? What happened to all his stuff, all his documents?
Oh, he forgot to pay or couldn't pay the rent.
Oh no! They threw him out.
Went to the dump.
Oh gosh! Oh,
I know.
God, what a shame.
That happened twice.
Oh gosh.
And what was left was not enough to put into a single 4-door file cabinet.
Well, and it sounds like, and I want to get you back on track. I'm sorry I got you a little off track there, but so you picked up the torch, sounds like, whether you like it or not, to sound this trumpet.
I had all of the duplicate research from our days.
Uh-huh.
It didn't exist anywhere anymore in time and space. I had it, and what I didn't have physically, I had up here because I was there and an eyewitness to it.
Yeah.
So the pressure mounted on me very quickly. And I came back to the same place that I was with when I first met Tony. This story is so big, it must be told. Period. And that's where I am today.
Yeah.
I still feel the same way. This story of technocracy is so big, it must be told, even though I have to say a lot of people aren't listening. A lot of people argue with me on why it's not that and this, that, and the other. I just don't care. I'm so singularly focused on one thing right now. It's been the whole life story from day one. The clear and present danger in my mind at this point is technocracy.
Yeah.